Have you ever really thought about how a doctor learns to be a doctor? Well, it turns out that every single medical student is actually going through two educations at the same time. There's the one they get in the classroom, from the books, and then there's the other one, the one that's way more powerful that they absorb just by being on the hospital wards. And here's the thing, these two educations are often fighting each other.
So, on one side, you have the official formal curriculum, the stuff that teaches all the ideals, show empathy, communicate with your patients, respect their dignity. But then, on the other side, you've got what's called the hidden curriculum, and that's the reality of a crazy busy hospital. Students see that getting things done fast is often more important than being empathetic. They watch senior doctors cut conversations short just to save a few minutes. We're not just talking about different styles here, we're talking about two completely different philosophies clashing head-on.
So that begs the really important question, right? When what you're taught in a lecture hall goes up against what you see happening every single day, which lesson actually wins? Which one is going to be the one that truly shapes the kind of doctor a student becomes?
Okay, so let's properly unpack this whole idea of a doctor's two educations. The official one versus the hidden one.
The thing is, medical students are like sponges. They are constantly learning. But it's not just from their textbooks. This second education, the one they get from the hospital culture, from the hierarchy, from just watching their seniors in action, that often has a much bigger impact on their professional identity than any lecture ever could.
So, this powerful, kind of invisible force, what do we actually call it? Well, academics have a name for it, the hidden curriculum.
So what is the hidden curriculum? Well, think of it as all the unwritten rules. It's the collection of values, behaviors, and lessons that students just absorb, informally. A lot of the time, no one's even trying to teach it to them. It's the real-world code of conduct that you're never going to find in any official course materials.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It's such a simple idea, but it's incredibly profound. It doesn't really matter what the textbook preaches if the behavior students are seeing with their own eyes day in and day out on the wards says the complete opposite. What's practiced, not what's preached, becomes the real lesson.
All right, so if these incredibly powerful lessons aren't in the syllabus, where exactly are students learning them? Well, the research points to a few major sources.
So there are four big ones. First up is role modeling. Students are always watching their seniors, and a consultant who is respectful teaches a totally different lesson than one who is cynical or dismissive. Then there's the clinical environment itself, just the intense pressure and the strict hierarchy. Those send powerful signals. Informal chats are also a huge factor. Corridor conversations, what they hear from their peers. And finally, and this is a big one, it's the institutional culture. What kind of behavior actually gets rewarded? Is it speed and efficiency, or is it empathy and taking your time? Students figure out what the organization really values very, very quickly.
Now, it's really important to get this. The hidden curriculum isn't automatically a bad thing. Its impact can be positive or negative. It really cuts both ways.
A positive hidden curriculum can be amazing. It can instill these incredible values like true teamwork, deep compassion, and a fundamental respect for patients. But a negative one, it can be so toxic. It can teach students that burnout is just normal, it can breed cynicism, and it can create this culture of fear where nobody feels safe enough to ask a question. And here's the crucial part. The hidden curriculum is often way stronger than the formal one. This actually helps explain something researchers have seen for years, a phenomenon called empathy erosion. It's where students actually become less empathetic the further they get in their training. They're taught one thing, but the hidden curriculum teaches a tougher, maybe more cynical lesson about how to survive.
Now, you might be thinking this is just some vague theory, but it's not. This is a concept that medical education researchers take very seriously. So let's take a look at the data.
Just to give you a sense of how much this is studied, a major review in 2018 wanted to get a handle on all the research out there. And they didn't just look at a handful of studies. They pulled together and analyzed the findings from 197 different academic articles.
But that same review uncovered a huge problem. A whopping 70% of all the research comes from just the US and Canada. And since the hidden curriculum is so deeply tied to culture, that means our global picture of this is really skewed. It's overwhelmingly based on just one type of medical system.
To make things even more complicated, it turns out that researchers don't even have one single agreed-upon definition for the term. Some look at it through a policy lens, focusing on structure and norms. Others see it as a social thing, all about interactions. Is it cultural? Is it psychological?
The answer is, well, it's kind of all of the above, which makes it really hard to study in a consistent way.
And get this. In over a fifth of the studies they looked at, the researchers didn't even bother to define what they meant by hidden curriculum. They just kind of assumed everyone was on the same page. That ambiguity is a massive roadblock if you're trying to make things better. I mean, how can you fix a problem when people can't even agree on what the problem is?
So with all that complexity, what can actually be done? Well, the goal is to take this powerful, invisible force and drag it out into the open to make it visible so we can start to shape it for the better.
The research points to a few really key strategies. It all starts with making the hidden stuff visible, literally just talking about it. That means creating time for reflection and open discussion. It also means having strong mentors, senior doctors who get how powerful their example is. And maybe most importantly, it means putting student well-being first to create an environment where it's actually safe to learn and ask questions. At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this. You just can't change a culture that you can't see. So the biggest, most important first step in using the hidden curriculum for good is simply admitting it's there, seeing it for what it is, and talking about it.
And that's what I want to leave you with. Because this isn't just about med school. Every single workplace, every university, every team has its own hidden curriculum, its own set of unwritten rules about what really matters. So take a second and think about it. What are the unspoken lessons being taught where you are?